This episode is brought to you by Bulldog Yoga, Cubo AI, and BetterHelp. And we are very excited to have them on board, making our show a possibility.
Welcome to If These Ovaries Could Talk. I'm Jamie.
I'm Robin.
And we're your hosts.
We sure are.
Love is love. If you don't have to make a family by taking a traditional route. If these ovaries could talk, you would say.
How do I get the sperm through custom?
I am a lesbian.
So gay.
So gay. We need to tell our stories.
It's not your nuclear family anymore. It's not just your mom and dad thing.
We're not ruining these little humans.
Not for the gay reason, just because we stay.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Robin. We're in the same room.
We're in the same room.
So weird.
We've done some interviewee things, but we haven't been in the same room.
A single one.
Not an
for over
episode in a
year.
while.
Oh my God.
So I'm looking at your face instead of a computer.
I was
It's weird.
actually just thinking in the bathroom on the toilet this morning. I don't know why I have to add that fact.
Why?
did
We
I
didn't
feel
need
the
to know
need
that. We
even?
did
But
not.
that's where I was sitting, and I was thinking, I'm going to Robin's. This is going to be exciting. This is going to be weird. And then I was
It's weird that you're thinking this while you're on the toilet, but go ahead. Go ahead.
And then I had the realization that we haven't had a guest in person for over a year.
Yeah.
And I was thinking how weird it's going to be back. Remember we used to hang out with them after and it would be we were best friends by the end. And
I still feel like we're best friends even over Zoom.
but we were in the same room and
I know.
it's going to be so weird. And then I was like, are we ever going to go back to that?
I don't know.
Because now we've kind of got a rhythm with this.
Also, it
you
takes
know?
less time and all of that jazz. But
And asking someone to come all the way to us to etch out 3 hours of their day.
yeah, I think most people aren't
This
going to
seems
want
like
to
a
do
lot.
it. Yeah.
No, but it's so nice to
mean,
be in person. But
The world changed.
it sure
You know what I
did.
mean?
Oh
The
my
world,
God.
I'm obsessively, I'm sitting at my dining room table and I keep putting my elbows down and there's some sticky nonsense
Something
for my
sticky?
children and I can't get it. So I'm just obsessively cleaning. I look
see.
a little crazy. Jamie, you know what? I wanted to talk to you about, we have this time.
You didn't tell me this was coming.
She doesn't know where I'm going. Jamie, I'd like to talk about my feelings about our
No,
relationship right
I
now.
know because
No,
we have
no.
had that
No,
conversation.
no. I would not do that on air. No, I was going to
There's
say.
something I wanted to talk to you.
No,
about.
I was going to say we in our live stream, our weekly live stream, one of the we have a much broader conversation on the live stream. It's not just about our families. We talk pop culture. We talk LGBTQ families. We talk parenting a lot. We talk about women's health a lot or health in general, but mostly women's health.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite hot topics, because we have hot topics,
Hot topic.
and that's what Jamie does every time, and I love it. But one of my favorite ones
It's
is
so well
is
done,
what are we
guys.
watching? And you just came in and with a house on fire or a barn on fire. What's that
I
saying?
did. Listen. There's a new show I'm watching. Anne and I have been struggling to find a show to watch for a while. We're just not into anything. I want brainless, mindless entertainment. We don't like the same shows all the time. So anyway, Anne heard about this show, The Fall. It's totally her kind of show. It's like a cop show.
I love a good cop show.
They're trying to catch a dude or whatever. And I'm not into those kind. I'm always oh, okay. So I acquiesced. Is that how you say that word? I acquiesced.
Acquiesced. But I like acquiesced.
It's because I learned it. You know how when you learn certain words
reading?
from reading
Yeah.
and you just say that anyway. So I acquiesced. That sounds more right. You're right. I acquiesced.
Because it is right. But
Begrudgingly acquiesced, and I was so annoyed that we were even starting it. And the first episode, I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't because it's really dark and it's kind of scary.
ooh,
By the third episode, listen, guys,
you're
it's
all in.
Gillian Anderson.
Which I mean,
I had never really watched her except Margaret Thatcher in The Crown recently. I have the hugest crush.
then you need to
on
watch that
Gillian Anderson
show
now.
with her
She's
where she
so
plays a
sexy.
sex therapist.
Uh-oh.
It's her son starts a business. I forget what that one's called.
Well, somebody look it up.
I wish
Listen,
this
guys.
was a live stream. See, if
Because
this was a
somebody
live
would
stream,
tell
somebody
us.
would have looked it up because we never know.
We never know what we're doing. But so, guys, Jillian, I don't know how is she gay? Is she not gay?
No,
I
no,
wish
she's
she was
not.
gay. She should
Everybody
be gay.
does. All lesbians
should be gay.
All lesbians. The fact that you're just coming to the Gillian Anderson party, since Mulder and
I never
Scully,
watched
people
X-Files.
lesbians have
Not
been
my kind of show.
oh my god, they've been in love with her for 800 years. So you're just late to the party.
So I have a huge crush on her now. I can't even handle Jillian, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. It's
All right, I'm gonna have to check it out. Right
have
now,
to
I'm
watch
still
it.
stuck in Below Deck, and I blame my friend Heather. And anyone who watches our live stream understands that I don't do reality TV. I don't. It's
do,
not my
and
thing.
that's
I can't stand it. But I went to my friend Heather's. I turned on the TV and Bravo was on, and it was in the middle of a marathon, and I got stuck.
Yeah.
And now I'm on season 5, and I was so pissed because I finished season 4. And there was no reunion show, so I don't know what really happened
What are
behind
you
the
gonna
scenes.
do?
I
What
know.
are you
I was
gonna do?
Google searching. I was
think
like,
you need to watch The Fall. Anyway, let's talk about
Patreon. Let's talk about Patreon.
Okay. If you haven't become a Patreon member yet, you're going to want to do that.
Yeah, you want to join our community and you're going to help us make content for LGBTQ families, which is amazing.
It helps us pay for
sure
the
does.
podcast because we're still,
Yeah, broke. But you also get bonus content.
You do.
At the gestational carrier level, you're going to get video interviews of most all of our interviews, and they're dropped a day early, which is pretty amazing. Uncut, unedited, no ads.
Yeah. And for those of you who are like my mom, maybe who have no idea what we're talking about, basically you go to this website and you follow us, you commit to a certain amount of dollars
Like a tier donation.
per month. And then it's like a social media page and all this content shows up for you.
Bonus
That's
content.
yours. That's bonus content. That's what this is. That's what we're
You could just go
doing.
look at the page. You
Yeah,
go
you could look
go
at
see it. Go head over to patreon.com/ovaries talk and you can join us or just look and see what's there. We have some stuff that's not behind a paywall that you
Yeah,
can
so
look
there's
at and
some
see,
free
get a sense of it.
Patreon.
Okay. Okay. All
All
right.
right,
Let's get
talk
to
about
our
our
let's get to our guest.
Oh, I love these. I
Oh,
love
Kate
them.
and Claire.
Yes, they're
Delightful.
so delightful.
Listeners who emailed us.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, "Oh, our story's sort of boring, but we would love to be on the podcast." Meanwhile, there's nothing
boring.
at all boring about it. I mean,
No.
it couldn't be further from the truth. There was like 2 or 3 times that we were like, "What?
I know.
That's a thing."
I know. And we learned 2 things.
Two new
You said
things that I
already.
recall. Yep.
Okay, we got some international UK knowledge because
Mhm.
they're in the UK. And they emailed us because they wanted to talk about kind of like what happens after you bring
Yeah.
the baby home. And we were like, that's a great idea. We haven't done
Yeah.
that. But then we got all up into their story too. I
Oh.
mean, it's just.
I know we could have talked to them for 17 hours.
Yeah.
All right, Helen. Please, we had an argument earlier. Helen, I'm saying this as politely as I possibly can.
She
I'm-
already told me when I walked in the door,
Yeah.
she's coming to stay with me for a while. She
Fine.
can't
You
be
you
with
should take
anymore.
her. You should take her. Helen, I would just like it if you could roll the tape now, please.
But Helen,
Thank
you can't
you.
smoke in my house.
And you can't talk to me like that. I am your boss, even though we don't pay you. Thank you,
Helen,
Helen.
just roll. Helen.
Just come on. Did you see the look she's giving me?
I know. She's
right.
so mad at
Fine.
you.
Hi, Kate and Claire.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Welcome to our ovaries.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for reaching out and finding us.
We love your podcast. We listen to it all the time.
Big fan.
Yeah.
I feel like we almost never get tired of hearing that, Jamie. Is that right?
No, really, like it's a problem. I want everybody in the world to say it to me all the time, and I'm sometimes baffled that they don't know who I am. I see a lesbian walking down the street now, and I'm like,
She's gotta
how did
know
they
me."
not make eye contact with me? How do they not know it's me? And we're not that big. We're not
We're
that
really
special.
not. We're really not at all.
But enough about us.
You two, should we start with the elevator pitch about you two?
Yeah, sure.
On your mark, get set,
Oh, God.
go.
Hi, so we're Kate and Claire, and we live in Cornwall at the bottom of the UK. We've been together 12 years and married for 6. And pretty much straight after we got married, after our honeymoon, we started on our baby making journey. So 2 laparoscopy operations, 3 fresh IVFs, 2 frozen, 2 transfers. What else? 3 endometrial scratches, a miscarriage, and finally in December our son was born.
Yay!
That was very well done.
38 seconds, nearly.
You sounded so calm too during it.
Congratulations, December.
Thank you.
Oh,
December
no.
2018. So he's
Oh.
he's 2 and a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're in it. You are in
Oh, yeah.
it.
We're deep.
Deep. You're deep
Yeah.
with the toddlers.
Before we jump into that, I'm gonna derail us one
Mhm.
second, and I want to know what time it is for you guys right now.
It's 9 o'clock, 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very late for 2 moms, so we appreciate you being here.
He's
with
also
us.
taken to waking up at like 5:30 in the
Oh.
morning.
My son
so-
did that this morning. Doesn't
We
end.
just like straight back to bed. No, just go back to bed.
It doesn't end.
It does end. At some point, they'll just get up and put themselves on the TV if you're a really good mom.
Let's get into your process. Sounds like it was a bit of a journey.
Yeah, I think, we went into it same as everyone else. You kind of go, hey, we're not that old. I think
Yeah.
we were
33 and 34.
Yeah. And we did reciprocal IVF. So I carried Claire's egg. Yeah, we kind of went into it thinking we haven't got any problems.
Mhm.
We're fine. And then we went for our first scan and it kind of unraveled from there, didn't it?
Yeah, so they found a really massive thing, which they didn't say what it was.
Did they just
They
say a
stopped
thing?
scanning. Yeah, they went to scan, and then that awful moment when she says, "Oh, I'm just going to get the doctor."
Oh, God, I
And you
hate
go,
that.
Oh no. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So yeah, they found a really massive cyst. I think it was like 12 centimeters by
Whoa.
8.
That's
So
a big
it was
cyst.
yeah.
And that
For
was
For
in
me, yeah.
in Claire.
Yeah.
And you already knew, like, from the start, you were going to do reciprocal IVF?
Yeah, just because we wanted that, both to have that connection. And
Mhm.
Kate always really wanted to experience being pregnant, and I wasn't that fussed either way. So yeah, we just thought that would be the way for us.
So you were going in there to basically get started on retrieving eggs, basically.
Or just that first appointment to make sure they check all these
That's it.
parts.
That's right. Yeah. And then she took my blood pressure after that, and she's like, "Oh, you have got high blood pressure."
And you had no symptoms? Like
my
you
God.
didn't have like extreme periods or anything like that? You just
No, I couldn't go very long without going for a wee. But apart from that, and that was the best thing when it got taken out, because we could do a certain set journey without having to stop to go to the toilet. Because it was just pushing on my bladder.
you're like, that explains so much.
Interesting.
I have to say, our clinic as well, it's a 6-hour round trip from our
Oh,
house.
my God. And
So-
you did reciprocal.
Yeah,
That's a
we
lot
went
of doctor's
lot.
appointments.
But there was nothing near where you lived?
No, that's the closest.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's actually in Wales, which is another country in the UK.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
Wow.
that finding this derailed your timeline already because you would have to have that removed and then heal and all that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I was freaking out because we did egg donation as well. I don't know if you have the same program in the US, but in the UK, if you're under 34, you can donate half of your eggs to someone else
Oh,
and get free IVF. You just pay for the drugs.
really? That's amazing. We've never
Wow.
heard that before.
Oh,
So it's
really?
kind of like you're doing a
Okay.
good thing and then they'll make
Yeah.
it free for you.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
So I think initially, like, the money saving was the driver, but quite quickly, actually, it became like, even if this doesn't work for us, it's not a completely wasted effort.
Yeah.
Someone has a little sort of snapshot of hope from it as well. So yeah, we did it that way. So there was a bit of added pressure because we had to get collection in before I was 34. We had
Oh.
to quickly speed up the surgery, get better. Are you better? Yeah. Are the pictures okay? Yeah. Send them to the clinic. Right. Go.
Wow.
That adds a
Yeah.
stress level too, which I can't imagine was helpful.
No, not really. No. But I think, like, the first transfer we went into straight off the back of a holiday in Italy, we were
Oh,
drinking
yeah.
like 5 cups of coffee a day, loads of gelato, all
Big
the bad Italian,
Negronis.
yeah, like everything. And we just skipped into our first round of IVF, and then like, oh, it didn't work.
We're like, I don't know. I wonder why. We're doing everything right.
Yeah,
But you know
Downing
what?
the coffee as you do.
People get
exactly.
pregnant. Ladies get pregnant in Italy, or people with wombs in Italy get pregnant, and they're
course.
eating all those foods. So it works.
Yeah.
You don't have to give up all that stuff.
No.
But I want to know how many eggs, like, since you were donating these eggs, how many eggs did you get, and how many did you end up donating?
You split them down the middle, so we got 14 and we got 7 each.
Wow.
That's a good number.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
did
it
good.
was. Yeah, we did. So we had one transferred and that didn't work. And then we had a frozen one transferred a couple of months later and that didn't work. So then we went back and had another retrieval. And because I managed to do it in my 34th year, they slightly changed the rules. They said you can try again and donate. And then halfway through that process, they said, oh, you're not responding that well. You might not be able to donate. So you can either stop or pay all the
Oh.
money. And you had like 24 hours to decide. And they said, we'll
Oh
come
my
back
God, by
tomorrow.
the way, that's like such legal mumbo jumbo. Like, oh, P.S. in the small print, if you're not doing well, you might have to pay for it. Like, that's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It was really awful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was on Valentine's Day.
Well, that's
I
a
remember.
good Valentine's Day for you.
Oh, we've had
Oh, we've had all the
We've
Valentine's
had
Day
all
in
the
that
fun on the
clinic, haven't we?
Valentine's
Yeah.
days in that clinic. I had an endometrial scratch on Valentine's Day.
I don't even know.
Yeah,
what
I don't know what that is
is
either. How do you
But
scratch
that
your
sounds
insides?
bad.
Well, they don't do it anymore, do they? I don't think
They
it's,
don't do it so much. No, I think
So-
it's been disproved.
Basically, they just scratch your
Endometrial lining.
endometrial lining. So, your legs in the stirrups, and they kind of put a hook in.
On
And-
purpose?
Yeah.
This sounds like a
Yeah.
DNC. It's like,
Is this to help, in theory, to help implantation? Is that?
Yeah, so it's supposed to make the cells come and like go into some sort of
where the cells are
welcoming.
repairing, it boosts and all that kind of new rejuvenation, I suppose, is welcoming. But I had it done, I had it done 3 times, twice. No, maybe I've had it done 4 times.
Maybe.
Because twice with a woman and twice with a man, and it hurt the most with the man.
Always.
Really?
But The 2 times the guy did it, I got pregnant on both occasions. So, but oh my God, that pain is because you're not like, you don't go under, you don't have any pain relief. They just say to you, just
like
take a paracetamol before you go in.
Ah.
And I think another nurse said to me, we had a really cool nurse at one of the clinics, and she said, just take a codeine like an hour before
She's
you
like,
go.
don't listen to them. Take something stronger.
Good for her.
Yeah. And I did, and that was okay. But yeah, it happened. One of the times it happened on Valentine's Day, and the guy like finished, and I looked at him and went, "It's not what I expected on Valentine's Day, if I'm honest."
No.
I've never heard that
can
as
work.
a treatment option.
I haven't heard that either. We're learning a bunch of firsts. Look at
But
this.
I think they've there's not enough evidence to show that.
There was enough for the clinics to offer it for a while. And then I think they did some more studies and maybe said,
We're just hurting women for no reason.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you had to pay for the privilege as well. So,
Oh,
my God.
yeah.
You know what, Robin?
no, I don't.
I did so much yoga when I was pregnant.
Okay, random. All
I
right.
know. No, I'm thinking about Bulldog Yoga, of course,
Uh-huh.
and how it's actually a really great app for our community
Mhm.
because especially since, things are still mostly shut down like yoga studios. I didn't run like I like to during pregnancy because I was afraid to run or do anything that could like harm the baby.
Yeah.
I was a little neurotic.
I mean, that's not funny, but it's funny. Sorry.
Right, I know. Because you can run. So I was a yoga fiend, like for real.
This is interesting. I mean, very interesting, Jamie. But what I love about Bulldog Yoga Online is that it's about taking the intimidation out of yoga and replacing it with music and smiles and no judgment.
I love that too. It is very accessible. And Bulldog Online is about making yoga fun.
Mhm.
Yes, Robin, fun.
I can.
Really?
I have. I love it.
And Bulldog streaming online classes are available on demand, anytime, anyplace, on your schedule. Bulldog even has classes for kids and teens, so you can get your Bulldog on and get moving with the whole family.
Oh my God, I'm
It's
making my
great.
kids do it right now. And there are choices for all levels, from beginner classes for moi to heart pumping workouts for Jamie. And there are tons of class length options to fit your schedule. Classes can range from 12 to 60 minutes.
Yes, true. So you can try your first 30 days for free at bulldogonline.com. That's bulldogonline.com.
Use the code OCT, y'all, and you're going to get an additional 50% off your first paid month. Again, one more time, that's bulldogonline.com. Coupon code OCT.
Go get that free month.
Namaste.
So you had 2 retrievals, basically. You got 7 the first time, and then
Yeah,
the
so
second.
the second time it got to the point where they said you might not have enough eggs to share, so you either pay or quit.
And so what
but You
happened?
can come back in 24 hours and we'll check. And I went back in 24 hours and they said, actually, you're doing better than we thought. We'll let you carry on. So they did, but they only
So
got,
stressful.
Eight.
8. And I came round from the retrieval and they said, you've only got 8. You're not going to be able to share, but we're not going to charge you.
Oh, how big of you.
Oh, wow.
But I felt terrible because this other lady would have been prepped alongside us. So she would have been taking the pill and be getting ready and waiting to have the transfer the same day as Kate. So it was a real blow because I felt like I really let her down. It took quite a bit to sort of bounce back from that.
Do you know if from the first donations, if anything,
I
Yeah,
don't
the
Came
know.
person
of
got
them?
pregnant.
I don't know.
you don't
And
have,
are you ever able to find that out?
Yeah.
is that something you might look into in
I
the
don't
future?
know. I don't want to know in case it didn't work.
Mm.
I like to keep the
Wow.
hope alive that maybe it did. And I
Well,
think
that's
if I find
noble.
out it didn't, I might feel sad. So I don't
Let's
know.
not do that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty easy about it. It's not something that weighs on my mind.
Well, in like 15 years from now, if someone does a DNA test and knocks on your door, it'll be like, I did it.
Yay.
Yeah, that's that question answered.
Okay, so you do the second retrieval, you get 4 eggs, you're keeping all 4 eggs, and then what
Yeah.
happens?
So the transfer took, didn't it?
Did it?
Yes, it did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and you got
Yeah, you did.
pregnant.
Yeah.
She's like, sure.
I think so. I don't know. She's like, I was
So
pregnant.
many.
Yeah.
Did they put 1 egg each
Yeah,
time?
one.
Just
yeah,
one, okay.
Yeah, they've got quite a strict rule about only transferring 1 in the UK unless you beg or you've got special circumstances.
Wow, it's so different here. It really is.
And the fact of the matter that you said, did it work? Didn't it? Means that I'm assuming that one didn't go
Yeah,
the course.
Didn't come to a baby.
So
yet.
we then I miscarried at 8 weeks,
Oh.
Mm.
but then we found out at our 12-week scan, which was delightful.
Oh,
Oh my God, that's awful.
yeah.
Oh.
I was kind of, weirdly okay about it. I mean, I think a little while after we had we never argue.
No.
We never argue. And actually, a couple of weeks after, I worked a ridiculous amount of days in a row. And I'm an event organizer, and I worked crazy hours. And I kind of came home from 19 days on the trot, and I was exhausted. And we just had an argument. And Claire just said to me, "You have to go and get some help. You have to talk about this." And I was like, proper British, no, I'm not talking about it. Really angry, went down like a teenager to the bedroom.
Did
And
Claire
then-
slide our BetterHelp promo code under the door? She was like, BetterHelp.com, OCT. And she slid it right under the door.
Luckily, I had free counseling sessions through our work. So I did that. 6 weeks of just chatting to this lady who never spoke. I don't think she'd ever spoken to a gay person in her life, let alone a gay woman, a lesbian going through IVF. And I kind of gave her an education as we went along.
Reciprocal IVF on top
yeah.
of that. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot
Yeah.
to learn here.
Yeah.
They can do that? Like,
Huh.
That's the story of everything
Well,
out here.
yeah. When we got pregnant that time and we got our midwife, we went to see our midwife and explained how we got pregnant. And she looked at us and just went, "Oh, so yeah, I suppose you can do that." Okay. And we were like, right.
it's
gonna be
like,
fun.
it is
Yeah.
20, whatever. It is 2018. I don't even care if it's 2010. Like, come on. Like, how
Yeah.
are we explaining this to you for the first time?
Yeah. And then she proceeded to get out. I don't know if you guys have the same thing, but the wheel that tells you
Your due date.
your due date.
Oh.
And it's like this little cardboard slidey
Oh,
wheel.
yeah, I
Yes,
remember
yes.
that from back in
Yeah,
the
from
day.
the
Yeah.
70s.
Yes,
But
probably.
like, you know your exact
Yeah,
due
right.
date because
No, don't tell this lady that.
She was like, according to my wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were
We
like,
had an argument. We argued
God.
about the due
Yeah.
date.
We were like, it's the 15th of November. And she's like, no, it's not. No.
oh,
I've got my wheel right
Yeah.
here.
oh my
Oh
God.
my God. So you had to get some help.
You
to
can't.
Yeah,
You
do it.
can't make this shit up. Like,
I
these
know.
are the things we
Right.
deal with. It's ridiculous. Are you
It's-
kidding me? She's like, no, that's
I
my
just
wheel.
also want to say, when you all emailed us, you were like, it's a pretty basic story. Not a lot happens. Like, we have been shocked 4 times already. We're like, and then what happened?
I just think because everyone has such amazing stories on your show, we're like, oh, we're quite boring.
No.
no.
All right, listen up, all you new parents or parents to be. We have got something that you are going to want to put on your registry right now. The Cubo AI. It's the first smart baby monitor to apply AI detection to baby sleep, safety, and memories. Come
Yeah,
on.
I know. No, I wish this had existed
Right?
when my kids were babies. This is a game changer. I'm so jealous.
I'm with you. First of all, Cubo AI has video quality so crisp that you can see your baby's stomach moving. I mean, it's high def.
If I could tell you the number of times I wasted, the number of minutes I wasted checking on my children's breathing at night, I still do it.
Oh, yeah.
I still check on them.
Oh, yeah.
I would have been all over this.
Oh, but Jamie, that's not all it does.
I know.
It alerts you when your baby's face is covered or when they roll over.
Mhm,
It alerts you when they cry, and you can adjust the sensitivity on that so that you're not alerted for small cries or baby talk. And you can also set danger zone alerts like the crib railing or the staircase. And Cubo AI will send alerts when the baby crosses that threshold. And all of these alerts can be turned off or adjusted if you're not into them.
Right. So your preference, right?
Right,
So it's cool.
amazing.
It's brilliant. It also gives you, listen, guys, sleep analytics,
Mhm.
gives you lullabies,
Mhm.
18-hour playback, and event tags. So, like, it shows you when any sleep events happen that you might want to go back and watch. Isn't that crazy?
so obsessive. I
Mind
love it.
blown. I love it. It also offers family sharing, which allows you to put up to 8 accounts onto it so that you can share with loved ones, and then they can say hi to your baby or catch up on the
Aw.
latest auto-captured moments. Like, it's cool and
I
feel
love
close
that.
even from afar.
This is next level, but it's got a cute little bird design, so it looks nice in the nursery. I mean, I can't, I know we said this, but I'm so sad it didn't exist for us.
Me too. Honestly, really mad and jealous, but I hope you guys enjoy it.
Oh my God, you're gonna. So here's what we're gonna do for you all. go to getcubo.com and use code OCT for a discount off your order.
You guys need to do this for peace of mind, at least. Anything for peace of mind.
Mhm.
That's getcubo.com and use code OCT for a discount off of your order.
Woo!
This is amazing.
So how long did it take you before you decided to try again? I mean, I know you need to heal and emotionally and physically.
So we think we took about 6 months out that time, I think.
Ooh.
And before the frozen one, we did a frozen one of that round, but we were both like, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Because we just had really bad vibes on it and it didn't work.
And it wasn't 6 months because that was July and we did it again in October.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
just the 3.
Felt like
but yeah,
6 though, right?
Yeah.
Because you're in that wheel. You can't stop. You can't stop. So.
Yeah, exactly. Each time we had a new fresh, we changed sperm as well because we just thought if that doesn't work, what can we change? So we changed the sperm again.
And also the biggest thing was you read the Starts with the Egg book.
My Bible.
Ah.
Yeah. And,
That's Jamie.
overnight, the plastic has gone from the house. We can't touch till receipts anymore.
Yeah, till receipts. That was the worst.
Me too. I was so afraid to, but I didn't want to offend like the clerk at the store, so I would like take it and then like drop the
Just to
receipt
take
real
it.
fast.
My jumper.
So like, do you want your receipt? No.
No, I don't want.
No, thank
I don't
you.
want that receipt. I don't want that poison.
Never.
It's so funny. Just for
What are you
those of
trying
you,
to kill me?
for those of you at home, there is some chemical on these receipts from cash registers or from credit card machines that can interfere with your ability to get pregnant. I don't know the science of it,
I
but
don't know. They're bad.
Kate, were you on board with the disappearing plastics, or were you like, what in the hell?
You got annoyed
Where's
with
my
me.
mug?
You hated me reading that book because I'd read it in bed and every night I'd tell you a snippet about the next thing we can't
is like
have
me
or
and my
have to
wife.
do.
But you got quite extreme and like the diet, like everything got banned. The diet. I mean, we'd already given up alcohol and coffee and sugar
Wow.
and did the lot. And then it got kind of quite extreme.
Yeah,
but
then I gave up like sweet style vegetables. So like the sweet potatoes,
Oh my God.
squash, carrots.
I only read the chapter that pertained to my particular issue. So I don't know all of the things that you can give up. That was not in my list of things to give up. I had to like change all my hair products and my beauty products and all that. And I did not give up alcohol, which I probably should have, but I definitely did not. So there's
This
that.
is the most Jamie of Jamie that she only read her chapter. This is the most Jamie in a nutshell.
But I've just read the book because we're trying again, but we're swapping. So we've just been through a cycle with my ex, and I finally read the book, and I did a Jamie, so I just read the bits that I wanted to read.
Yeah.
And Claire's like, no, you have to read every chapter.
That's
you
so
have to
funny.
read it all. And I'm like, yeah, but we've already got rid of the plastic and the till receipts. And
We don't do
we
that
stopped.
anymore. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, the author, even in the beginning, said you can just skip right to the part. Here's
I'm
the
sorry,
table
Jamie.
of
I'm
contents.
sorry.
Go to your particular problem because I've laid out plans for each particular problem. So I just followed the directions she gave me, you see. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we changed our life basically.
And we got an amazing acupuncturist who
Mhm.
was weirdly based in Cornwall and Bristol, which is an hour away from our clinic. So we could see her in both locations, which was amazing. And
Oh,
she
that's
was
good.
like, she's actually a really good friend now, but she was like a therapist, an acupuncturist, a nutritionist, just everything, and specialized in fertility as well. So
Because what you don't realize about acupuncture before you do it is you're not just there and getting needles in and then leaving. You are in that
It's
room
holistic.
with them. My acupuncturist, I can't believe how much I talked to that guy. Like I opened up about everything in my life to this dude. They become everything to you. It's so funny because you're with them in the room for so long. Well, they do this and they do that, and they, and then you have to meditate and
yeah. And she was amazing.
Yeah.
And even now, like, she happened to get pregnant similar time to us as well. So yeah, we talked to her quite a bit about all of our ailments still, even though we're not paying her.
So after you started doing the book, that's when it worked the first time?
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
we did. So we thought we got one final throw of the dice, I think, because like nothing in the UK is free. We pay for every bit of treatment. So this was like our last attempt. We're just going to throw everything at it.
Because
Change
now
the
you
sperm.
can't donate them at this point.
That's right. Yeah. Because I didn't have enough eggs. So yeah, a little bit of pressure taken off because we knew we didn't have to share. Everything just sort of clicked, I think, really. And when you went in for the transfer, you were
And we changed sperm as well.
yeah. And when we went in for the transfer, you were really chilled.
Yeah. And we got to know everyone in the clinic because we'd been going there for 3 years.
Yes.
So they were like, hi
Again.
And they were all really lovely.
And the consultant shook your hand when you got
Yeah.
off the bed, and we were like, it felt very final. It felt like goodbye. We're not going to see you again.
Yeah. And I got a hug from the nurse who was this amazing nurse who was proper, quite scary, but total heart of gold and amazing. And she gave me a hug and they all kind of looked at us oh, she doesn't normally do that.
But that time we did put 2 embryos in because I think they felt so sorry for us, and we've been there so many times.
Right.
But they said, why not put 2 in? And we were like, do you know what? We'll take, like everyone says, and I'll take twins, I'll take triplets.
We'll do it.
Just,
Yeah. After that long.
Yeah.
As they were putting it in, the stoic, scary nurse went, "You're brave, aren't you?" Just as it was going in, I was like, thanks.
too late.
Yeah, too late.
Oh, you're like,
Oh
wait,
my
don't say
God.
that, please. Don't say that.
Yeah. But luckily one took.
Yeah.
And
And then along came our son.
yeah.
Amazing.
That's amazing and beautiful. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And before we talk about what's coming after, you mentioned you're trying now. Are you, Kate, under the 35, so you're getting the free jobby again, or no?
Oh, you're kind, but no.
Oh, bummer. You look like it. You look 9. You both do.
Thanks.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so we've done one. We did it in November. We had a egg collection and a transfer, and that didn't work. So we've got 2 in the freezer that I'm going to have any day now. 1 put in.
Okay.
And I think if that doesn't work in me, we're going to put them in you.
Yeah, so we've got 2 of mine and 1 of Claire's
Yeah.
in the freezer.
Oh, you still have one
Yeah,
from before
yeah.
there.
So if the one doesn't work in Claire, then I will go again and I will take, if they'll let us,
Yeah.
1 of mine and 1 of Claire's.
At the same time.
the
Yeah,
same time.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh, wow.
I feel
that's
like if you're
fun.
paying, you should have whatever you want within reason.
Right?
Yeah. Do what I said.
That's exciting. Can I ask, I'm assuming the prices are similar between UK and the States, but how much does an IVF cycle cost?
So I think it costs us £6,000. So that's about
Oh, that's much cheaper.
$10,000.
10,000.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
well,
much cheaper.
in the States, it's 10 to 15, just depending
Yeah.
on things.
Mm.
Interesting.
And I love your fluidity with the donor that you don't seem to have attachments. You're just like, we switched donors, because you knew you needed to mix something
I think
up.
we didn't feel like each time we could keep the same thing. We felt like we had to make some real positive changes each time. And that was one thing we could do that we have over heterosexual couples. You can't just ditch your husband if it doesn't work.
Yeah, you can't do that. Or there
you can,
requires a
but that'd be
very,
mean.
very big conversation then.
We also had a situation where when we went back for our 3rd fresh cycle, the clinic said to us, "We're not accepting sperm from the sperm bank that you use because they haven't been following the HFEA protocol." And we were like, "Well, we've got sperm on ice with them." And they were like, "Well, sorry, we're not accepting that anymore." So we were like, "Oh shit, well, what do we do?" Okay, so we said, "Who do you accept it from?" And they gave us 3 choices. And 2 of the banks had men who'd had chlamydia and who'd smoked and stuff. And there was no information on them either. So we were just like, "No, we're not using that." And then they said, "Oh, we do use this bank in America." And we were like, "Okay,
Give it a whirl.
have a look at that." And then we found a guy on there that we really liked. You guys put so much more information and effort into your donor profiles,
Yeah.
which is
Really?
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, in the UK, you don't get a picture. You get a few words. It's just
I guess
poor.
because the reasoning is you shouldn't care what the person looks like. You just
I
want
think
a
it's
baby.
possible, but I think
You should
it's
be grateful.
because you don't get paid. You're not allowed to be paid. You're only allowed to be compensated.
Yeah.
So the
Right.
market isn't there, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We had season 2 or 3, we had a donor from the UK.
Nate, right?
Nate. Yeah. And he talked a lot about
okay.
that.
Okay, so then you had to switch to the US bank. And then what happened to the sperm you had on ice? You just had to throw it out?
No,
Or
we sold it back.
Give it
They took
away?
back, luckily.
They took it back full price?
No, half price, I think. Or,
Be like,
I don't know.
no.
No.
Yeah, that's the US too.
Yeah.
Or our
Yeah.
bank was like half price. They would take it back, which is so crazy.
If you leave
never,
it on
Yeah.
ice in their facility, if you bring it
which
to...
is such a racket.
It's
It never
crazy.
left your facility.
Mm.
You can't 75% at least.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
it's just,
totally.
ugh. Okay, folks, let's talk therapy.
Let's.
Better yet, let's talk BetterHelp.
Mhm.
Guys, if you have listened to this podcast even once at all, you know Robin and I are huge fans of BetterHelp.
We just are.
Yeah.
It got us through a rough patch together.
It
It
did.
helped Jamie and I individually. It's helped my wife. I mean, you can definitely call us fans.
Yeah, BetterHelp is online therapy that is done securely online.
Mhm.
You go to their website, sign up, and you can start communicating with a licensed professional therapist in under 48 hours.
Oh my God, amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling, and everyone needs to understand that. And there's a broad range of expertise that's available, which may not be locally available in many areas. So you can possibly find someone more qualified or perfectly qualified to deal with your particular situation when you may not have been able to find that locally.
It's super accessible. And you can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. And you're going to get a timely and thoughtful response, which I do a lot. And it's more affordable than traditional offline counseling. And guys, financial aid is available.
BetterHelp is committed. I just love them so much. They're committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches. So they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed, which is difficult to do. It's hard to break up with a therapist.
Oh my God, so hard.
And they make it easy.
I know.
It's like texting to break up with someone.
Yeah, right. So guys, BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today.
Visit betterhelp.com/OCT. That's better, HELP, and you're going to join the over 1 million people who've taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
In fact, Robin, so
Yes.
many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states.
Oh my God.
I
So
know.
you get therapy and a job.
Yeah.
This podcast is sponsored by
If you're a
BetterHelp.
therapist.
And if these Ovaries Could Talk listeners are going to get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/OCT.
OCT.
You guys emailed us, and Jamie and I were so excited because you were talking about, you said, and we love, by the way, when people email us and say, you haven't talked about this or you haven't talked about that, and here's a conversation. We're always like, well, then you be that person. Let's talk about it. But you said we hadn't talked about like what happens after you get the baby, other than Jamie and I complaining about our children. You didn't say that, I did. And we were like, yes, let's come on and talk about it. So
Yeah.
how's it been? How is it going? And
Yeah, it was an interesting time. I think for me, it felt like you've just done this whole marathon of IVF and you've been on that complete roller coaster. And then you kind of get to the end of that marathon and you're like, oh, okay, I've got to carry on and do the marathon of pregnancy now. Actually, I loved pregnancy. I absolutely loved it. I was like, like, I've never really been that body confident. But when I got pregnant, I was like, yes, tight tops. I'm just showing off that belly. I don't know what happened to me. I just loved it. Like the hormones were amazing. Yeah, so you do that whole journey. And then my labor was quite intense. He was 15 days overdue.
Ooh.
oh,
He should have been born, well, his due date was the 12th of December and he came on the 27th, poor boy.
Wow.
And
Those hormones must have been really good for him in your womb too.
I think it's to do with the amount of roast dinners I was eating around Christmas. I was just honestly, you were scared of me with the amount of food that I ate. Like,
Just so angry.
yeah, like I nearly pushed an old woman down the stairs to get to the like sandwich section in a shop.
It's amazing.
The moment I got pregnant, I was hungry,
Mm.
and our son now is hungry all the time. And I swear it was just him like eating everything.
Yeah.
You do that marathon of pregnancy, and then I had a marathon labor of 48 hours, which then ended up in an emergency C-section. When they said, actually, you need to have a C-section, we were both like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, just
fine,
get out.
just get out.
Mhm.
But we had this
I feel you.
amazing moment, and Claire took the most incredible photo, and I don't know how you managed to do it, but I saw him come out of me when they lifted him out of me because he was stuck in my pelvis, so I was kind of being chucked around a lot. And then as they took him out of me, Claire took a photograph, and because of the theatre lighting, it's all kind of dark apart from him just kind of reaching out with his hands like that. I think that moment for me really helped me because I connected with him immediately. You know, I could see I had given birth to him.
Right? Because I can only speak for my C-section. Sorry to interrupt, but like the connection didn't happen immediately for me because I think that there is that divide where he's just pulled out of me.
Yeah.
And they bring him around the curtain, and I was like, "Oh, okay, wow." And you're so drugged up, and like, there was a lag for me.
I think the same for you because you only said the photo helped later on because it made the connection of what happened later, and you could reflect on it by looking at pictures.
But I do remember him coming out of me, and I held on to that because everybody talks about this. Well, not everybody actually. When you actually start to speak about it, people don't have that rush of love. A lot of people don't get it, that kind of instant connection. It kind of has to grow.
I was banking on that rush of love. I was banking on it, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, and I think I had a similar thing. I've heard you speak, Jamie, where my mum told my story of being born as this kind of, she was 10 centimeters dilated with a bit of backache, and they got to the hospital. I mean, I was child number 3, but it was an amazing textbook,
just
wonderful
slipped right
birth.
out.
Yeah,
it just slipped right out. Oh, yeah, it was just beautiful. Like, really, Mom? Yeah. Oh my God.
I thought maybe that would happen to me, and I had the dreams of the water birth and the kind of hypnobirthing. And
that bloody hypnobirthing book. Yeah. And she'd say all these things, don't do this, don't do that. And it's like a stick to beat yourself with because I'm in there. I love a book and I love someone telling me what to do. And we were there like, she didn't really recommend, we shouldn't really be doing this. And, you go down the induction route, you're going to end in a C-section. You might as well tear that sodding hypnobirthing book up and put it in the fire.
Yeah, those books will really screw with your head. What's the name of the late Ina? I don't remember her name. They're big, honking books. And she's got all these theories and how you're going to make it natural and blah, blah, blah. And every night in the bed, Anne was like, oh, God.
The one thing she said that I thought was so valuable was that the more attached you are to a birth plan, the more likely you are to have postpartum. And I think we do a real disservice. And I think some of those books, and like, again, that Jamie always says, no judgment, like you find help where you need it. Yeah. But I do think that sometimes we want this baby so much and we don't have the baby and we're just in this waiting pattern. So we go to these books and we think, I'm going to do it perfectly. I'm going to do it right. And then you get ideas of how it's going to go. And the first lesson in parenting is getting pregnant is it's not up to you. Like none of this is up to you. And if you want it a certain way, you're much more likely to be depressed after. And, I think I wish more people knew that. I wish more people were able to be flexible and know the baby's coming, how the baby's coming.
Yeah. And I think I sort of told myself that, but I don't know. I think I was still kind of quite set on being as natural as possible. But then, do you know what? Once we were in the process of the labor, I did 13 hours without any pain relief. And then I because it was Christmas, I got induced on Christmas Eve. I went into labor Christmas Day morning. And then we went into hospital Christmas Day evening. And there was literally no room at the inn for me. So I had to I was behind a curtain in the
We're in the postnatal ward.
Yeah.
Very weird.
And I was labouring behind that. And at like 3 o'clock in the morning, we dressed me up as Mary in a blue sheet. Because there was no room. And finally, at like 5 in the morning, we got into the birthing suite.
The lesbian Mary.
And I kind of went, can I have a paracetamol, please? And then I went on the drip. And then they said, I said, I don't want an epidural. I don't want one. And the midwife was like, you're on the drip. You're going to last about an hour. And then after an hour, I was like, yeah, bring it in. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. But then, I was quite like, whatever at that point, aren't you? You're just like, just do what you need to do. Just get him out.
I think when it comes to a story like yours or a story like mine, I went in with an open mind too. Like I knew I couldn't plan what was going to happen. I had seen my wife give birth. I was all set to go with the flow and go with the punches. And then what happens is it starts to turn kind of tragic and it starts to get very shocking. And your brain and your body can't process what is happening because you are just in this high adrenaline crazy state and shit is going down in that room and your brain is not really there for it. And so what happens is after the fact, you start to process the trauma that you just went through that you really didn't realize in the moment, and I think that that's a really big factor for having a hard time afterwards too.
Yeah. And I think like after he was born and we went back to the ward, we hadn't slept for 3 days.
4 days.
4 days. And you'd been on like a chair for ages. And I said to her, I was like, do you want to just get in my bed? And like, you didn't say anything. You just was like, yes, like just got straight in. And you were lying next to me and I was like, you're shaking. And you were like, no, I'm not. I was like, yeah, you are. And you were just like constantly shaking. I think it was probably worse for you at times because you could see me going through everything.
Because you're the cognizant one. I mean, you're the one watching it all go down.
Yeah.
And it's quite traumatic watching someone have a C-section as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
And an emergency C-section at that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, we went into the reciprocal thing thinking, you'll have a connection because you gave birth and I'll have a connection because biologically they'll be mine. But what we didn't ever consider was maybe we'd feel like I don't have a connection because I didn't give birth and you don't have a connection because he's not biologically yours. And that, it's never materialized. We don't feel like that at all. But I think in that blind panic of all that no sleep and all that coming to the surface, you think, what if we have got this all wrong? Maybe this wasn't the right way to go.
Because of the C-section and the epidural, my milk was really late coming in. And I didn't know that. Nobody had ever told me. And then the day we came home from hospital, he'd been nicely filled up on colostrum, of which I'd been milked nicely in hospital by the midwives. When we came home, he kind of was sleeping and we managed to have a pizza and we were like, yeah, okay, we can do this. We're winning. It's all right. And then sort of 1 o'clock in the morning, he just screamed and screamed and screamed. And we were like, we haven't slept for 4 days.
He's broken. He's broken.
What have we
Send him
done?
back.
What have we done?
Yeah. And like,
We spent all our money on this.
So I had to ring my mum and dad and I was like, I think he's just hungry, but I don't have any milk. Can you just go to the supermarket and get him some formula? Because I don't have anything. And my mum breastfed me, so she had no idea about formula. So they like went into the supermarket like 1 a.m. and went, we need baby milk. Where is it? Who's got a baby? And like came back to our house. You had no idea about formula. So Claire and my mum were like just filled up this entire bottle of formula.
No.
And gave it to our son, and then who promptly drank all of it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Then he's greedy.
He was hungry.
And then went to sleep.
And he was good for like 4
and he
hours.
was like totally like, yeah.
And then I
happy
read
now.
the back the next day and it's like newborns, you give them like
Like this much.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
2 ounces.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. But that's the thing. And this is why we wanted to have this conversation, because there's so much you don't realize when you take that baby home after all of this is said and done. There's so much that's not talked about.
Yeah.
The formula thing, the milk,
The connection thing.
the
for sure.
connection thing, especially with families like ours who are doing things like reciprocal IVF, and we don't know how we're going to feel after. We have this idea of how golden and glorious this is all going to go down, but
And how intentional we are to make this plan.
Yeah.
We feel like it's supposed to. And it's not just like our plans. It's also society is telling you that you are supposed to be connected to your baby immediately. And you're never supposed to be mad at them. And there's all these people that make you feel bad if you don't like talk about your baby like they're the most wonderful, incredible thing in the history of man.
like if you spend
It's a
the
lot of
next week
pressure.
bawling your eyes out because you don't know what the hell you just did and why the fuck you just did it, and holy shit, what have I done to myself? Like that can happen too. And that's totally normal and that's totally okay. And if it does happen to you, you need to know that that will pass, and you will have a bond with your baby. You will,
When did it pass for you guys? When did you feel like connected, or can you even say? Because I've been thinking as we're talking for me, but so I'm wondering if you know.
I don't know really.
I think
It feels like every day I like love him more, and I feel like every day is better in that sense. But I think like we were just out of whack for probably a couple of weeks. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely. The day after the formula incident, I rang the midwife and we went. She just was amazing. She was like, just come to the hospital. We'll like build you a little nest in a room and we'll just hang out there all day. And
Oh,
we'll
that's
just
so amazing.
we'll just practice breastfeeding and just hang out. This amazing woman came in who was quite scary, and she just kind of grabbed his head and just shoved it on my boob. And I've got quite a large chest, so kind of me wrangling a breast and a baby's head was really complicated.
It's a lot.
It's hard.
It's a lot. She was really quite like forceful with him, and I was like, whoa, that's
Chill out.
more forceful than I thought you'd need to be. And our midwife was there as well, and she just talked to us, didn't she? And we both broke down and cried, and she was amazing at just letting us get it out. And then we went home that night, and it clicked for me and him. He fed. I didn't have any milk, but he latched on, and it was incredible. And then a couple of days later, my milk came in. And then about, I think maybe a week or 2 weeks later, we went to Starbucks, and I was trying to like do one of my first
Public feeds.
feeds. Yeah. And
God bless you.
Oh, and those are so hard. And you look at new
I never
moms
did
and you
it.
think they just have it. They got it in the bag.
Yeah.
You need to know how nervous new moms are. Even like when you see a new mom wearing the baby Bjorn with a little tiny newborn, I always used to think, oh, she's got it. She's good. No, she's probably so nervous right now. You know?
Yeah. She's afraid he can't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's afraid he's going to scream his head off any minute.
And then everyone's going to look round.
Mhm,
And I remember just
mhm.
kind of being there trying to like do it, and I was getting really hot and sweaty, and I was just like, I don't know if I can do this. And you said to me, well, do you want me to help?
Mhm.
Claire had been taking herbs and stuff before.
Yeah, so that we could both do breastfeeding. So so that kind of took the pressure off a bit, that we could both do it.
And it worked.
Well, like it kind of works. Like, because he's greedy, I never made enough milk to properly like. I think I did one night feed where I fed him to sleep, and that was like my win. You know,
That's
I mean,
amazing.
one feed out of like a gazillion, but
I'll take it. It was amazing.
Hey, listen.
I was just
absolutely.
lying there in bed, and I was like, he's not crying anymore. It's gone quiet. I can go back to sleep. And that's another thing, like nobody talks about, well, people do, but there's a lot of pressure to say you must breastfeed. But like
Yes.
for me, you know, especially at the beginning with Wilfred, that's our son, not having any milk at the beginning, we had formula for a few days with me until my milk was fully in. But I never put any pressure on myself to say, okay, well, if he's going to have formula, then he's going to have formula. I want to try and breastfeed. I really wanted to breastfeed. And
Mhm, so did I.
but I think there's two camps, isn't there? And there's a lot of pressure from both sides. And it really is down to you and what you want to do and what's right for you and your baby, isn't it? So
Mhm.
I wish more people came from that point of view.
Well, and that's what ended up happening to me. I had all this guilt. I wanted it to work. It just wasn't working. He wouldn't latch. The lactation consultant came in on like day 3 or whatever when we were home, and she looked at him and she goes, "Oh yeah, he's tongue tied," which is like the word.
yeah.
Like it's just the like I don't understand how there is no. It feels like no compassion for new moms and what we're going through.
yeah.
And the way they can treat us is just so dismissive, and like you have no idea how devastating that can be to a new mom who's super fragile.
Mm.
If it turns out that this next, and if this is too invasive of a question, don't answer or just tell me to shut up. But if it doesn't work out and you guys do switch back to Kate carrying, are you going to feel a loss? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, because after the first one didn't work, I was sort of thinking, maybe I don't want this that badly. I've never really wanted to be pregnant.
Oh.
But then when Kate was pregnant, I thought, oh no, I could do this. And especially when he was just born. And we sort of been back and forward on it, haven't we? And I just sort of thought, I want to give it one more go. And if it doesn't take, then I've given it my best shot. And that's enough for me. I think I probably will, maybe a tiny part of me be sad, but I think the most important thing is that he has a sibling.
Uh-huh.
The next important thing is that maybe Kate gets to have a biological child. And the third most important thing is for me to carry. So I'm happy to kind of rationalize it that way.
That's beautiful. And that's
so intentional.
Yes, and that's the beauty of our families and how they're made and how we get to choose how it goes. And sometimes we don't get to choose. Sometimes we don't have a choice,
Yeah.
but we have options.
Yeah, that's
Which I
it.
just
And I think
love.
that's nice that we've got options and we've still got a couple of shots left.
Well, I hope that it happens really soon for you all.
Thank you.
I'm just putting that out into the universe.
too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
I'm so happy that you guys reached out to us and shared your story. This was such an awesome conversation. And this is going to be so helpful. Like, I can't even believe that you said for a second that your origin story was boring or uneventful. It's like, it was wonderful.
Yeah, there's a
thank
lot.
you. Appreciate it.
I feel like we could talk for hours, and
Days.
I mean, this is a subject I could talk forever about because you're right. When you reached out to us, it's like, this stuff needs to be talked about more. Us women need a voice.
Yeah, I think, as I said, we had an amazing midwife, and there was a moment where she came round on her like final round, and she said to us, "It's okay. You've been on a massive journey, and it's okay." And we both were like, and like, we didn't realize.
Yeah, that we'd held it all in.
Yeah.
So tight for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I love them. Anybody who writes an email to Helen is A-okay on my list.
Absolutely. I just love them so much.
Oh my God, I love them.
I hope that their second pregnancy comes to them easily, and
Me
I
too,
hope that
me
they don't
too.
have a huge, long, drawn out thing. That's what we wish for everyone.
Yes.
And then
Sending baby juice.
after they're pregnant,
Baby dust.
I'll let them know how hard 2 kids 2 years apart is. But I'm not going to
No,
tell
don't
them
do
that before.
You
'cause-
just did.
well, they're not. No one listens to the outro, Jamie. It's fine.
I want you guys to write to us and tell us you listened to this outro and be like, Robin, how dare you? Anywho. All right, guys. So if you haven't bought our book yet, go buy that book. Buy it for your friends. Buy it for your parents if you're thinking about starting your baby making journey. Buy it for all your friends. Buy it for your straight allies. Make a straight person an ally by giving them our book. I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, what else can
You can
we
also
do?
get the audio book if you want to hear us read to you.
Yeah, it's
It's
called.
available on Amazon and iTunes.
Yeah, the book is called "If These Ovaries Could Talk: The Things We've Learned About Making an LGBTQ Family."
All right. And if you get it, don't be afraid to review us on Amazon or Goodreads. All right, Jamie, let's keep this party going. You can join us on the social. We're everywhere all the time at Ovaries Talk on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. If These Ovaries Could Talk on YouTube. And that is a place where you can see all of our live streams plus other random bonus content. And also don't forget that our live streams are on Facebook and YouTube at 4 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays.
All very true. And you can support our podcast by joining our community on Patreon at patreon.com/ovaries talk. And don't forget, like we said, you're going to get bonus content there.
So much
how
bonus
many times can we say bonus content
Also,
in
like,
an episode?
at what point did we make too much content?
It's
All right.
never
Thank you to
enough.
Our sponsors, Bulldog Yoga, Cubo AI, and BetterHelp. And a huge thank you for all you folks who are already our Patreon members and who are helping us make this show. We thank you.
We really do thank you
We
so
do.
much. And we thank you for
thank you
just
so
tuning
much.
in general.
Thank you so much.
You. This is
All
all
right.
right.
Eggs.
Ovaries.
Take Helen out.
Out.
If these ovaries could talk, they would say,
Eggs, ovaries out.